Hello, my fellow Westies. Welcome back to this, the first issue of 2023 for Westie Ways. I'm Mark Skinner from Glover's Real Estate. This is my monthly podcast, which covers median sales prices in West Auckland for the previous month or two. This issue for January is going to be covering December 22, changes in price in 17 different suburbs in Waitakere, West Auckland. Bit of information there for everybody, and I hope you enjoy getting the details. First of all, as we know, December is actually the start of holiday month, if you like, or holiday mode for Kiwis generally. And so usually we expect a bit of a downturn in house sales, etc. And that has actually happened. In certain suburbs there's been quite a large drop, and other suburbs actually maintained the numbers. So it's interesting. I'll give you the details as we go through. At this point, I'd like to acknowledge that the data I work with is gleaned from various sources, but in particular CoreLogic, the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand, and Tony Alexander. I get a lot of information from those three sources. And it's all factual information about genuine home sales. Now, during December, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand effectively skips an OCR, an official cash rate adjustment, because it is the holiday period. So the next adjustment that we are due, or the next consideration of an adjustment that we are due, will be in, I think, the 22nd of February. So we've got a little time to go. In between that, all the pundits are talking about an increase in the OCR at that point. The last adjustment was in November, which was 0.75 of a basis point, which took the overall cash rate to 4.25%. Most pundits are expecting another 0.5 to 0.75 in February. But they will have to take into account, of course, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, or the inflation rate, and for the latest quarter that comes out in a couple of days' time, on the 25th of January. So, it'll depend on what the CPI looks like, as well as to what the RBNZ does. Couple of points. Just to reiterate what's been happening over the last 12 months in the real estate market. New Zealand-wide house prices have dropped overall by 1.7% between December 2021 and December 2022. Sales were also down. In the 12 months to December 2022, there were 62,400 sales. That's houses nationwide. And in the previous December 2021, the 12-month period to then, was 88,700. So quite a significant drop in the number of houses sold last year. Building consents, however, and for new dwellings to December 2022, the 12 months, they actually went up from 47,700 new building consents to 50,200. So reasonably good jump there for the 12 months. However, again, the signs, the indicators are that building consent numbers will be dropping for 2023. A lot of factors in there. A lot of tradies heading overseas for better money. Developers reining in their projects. A lot of developers bought in 2020, 2021, and paid at the top of the market, and are now finding that those that have gone ahead and built units, a lot of them are townhouses, and there is a bit of a surplus in the market at the moment for townhouses. And so developers are reining in their projects. They're not actually seeking new properties to buy for new projects for the next 12 months, just at the present time. On the other side of the coin, though, I have noticed, and we have noticed at Glover's, that there has been quite an increase in people looking in the windows, people inquiring, particularly from overseas. And I think that's reflected in the faster than expected recovery in inbound tourism, and also in inbound student numbers. There's a lot of students coming back to the country for their education, and they need somewhere to live, and those that can afford it obviously can't buy unless they've got residency. But it's encouraging investors to buy investment properties to accommodate these students, and also Airbnb is coming back online with the tourism improvement. And one of the things that I have noticed particularly, I'm getting a lot of inquiries from people who have settled or have come to New Zealand in the last 2 years and have a full-time job. They're in perhaps in the health industry or education or whatever. And only just recently with these specialty residential visas, it's unlocking the door to the banks for these people to actually be able to borrow from local banks, and they are in the market looking to buy. Tend to be looking at the sort of first home buyer level around up to say 800,000, but it's good to see active interest in the market and some of those funding channels opening up for people. All right, well, I won't spend too much time now. I'll go through the 17 suburbs that I cover every month. And interestingly, what I will say as an overall commentary is of the 17 that I cover, in December of 2022, 11 of them, the median sales price actually went up. Now, bear in mind that some of those suburbs only had a small number of sales, in which case it will affect the median sales price quite considerably up or down. In this particular case, there's 3 or 4 suburbs that I see as indicators. Those are the ones that are the high turnover suburbs, the Glen Edens, the Newlands, Avondales, etc. And they give a very good indication of what's happening. Some have sold townhouses, some are actually struggling to supply product actually. So anyway, we'll get into it. Avondale, I'll start in alphabetical order. Avondale this month, 19 units sold for a median sales price of $1,025,000. That's up 14% on last month at $897,500. Then to Blockhouse Bay, 11 units sold for a median sales price of $1,249,000. That's up again 9% on the 1,100,000 from November. Glendine, only 3 units sold, but it's holding its own there. Last month the median was 915,000. Previous month was 905, so still over the 900s. Glen Eden, a large drop in sales there. There were only 15 units sold as opposed to 32 the month before. But the median sales price stayed around the same. It's $845 for December and $849,500 for November. So that's actually remained pretty static. Then we're into Henderson, where there were still good numbers of sales. 31 units sold in Henderson, residential units, and 33 in November. And the median sales price in Henderson was up quite a good number, 13.5%, from $829,000 to $941,000. So a good jump in Henderson. Hillsborough, again, only 3 units sold, and the median stayed around the 1.2 mark. Last month was $1,236,000. In December was $1,210,000. So still around the 1.2. Then we move to Kelston, another one where there's not a lot of turnover. Only 2 units sold in Kelston in December, but they were higher value. $977,500 for December for the 2 units, and $880 in November. And Linfield, again, only 2 units sold in Linfield. Pretty similar numbers. $1,194,500 for December, $1,150,000 for November. So Linfield's holding its own, but there were only 2 units sold there. We've got Massey, 30 units sold in Massey in December, 28 in November, and holding its own, $892,500 for December, $887,000 for November. So not a lot of change there. Mount Albert, one of those sort of almost inner city suburbs, one that is on the periphery of West Auckland, so I like to sort of keep an eye on that. Mount Albert, 24 units sold as opposed to 19 in November, and the number that sold last month, median sale, $1,520,000 as opposed to $1,650,000. But you would expect, $100,000 change in Mount Albert because of the numbers. Mount Roskill, 18 units sold at $1,067,500. That's up from $935,000 in November. Back into West Auckland, New Lynn, 15 units sold, a dramatic drop on the 32 sold in November. Median in December 900,000, median in November 852,000, so slightly up on that, but on lesser units sold. New Windsor, only 2 units sold, and a huge increase in the median because only 2 units sold, and it was New Windsor. Went from 964,000 to 1,310,000. So obviously the 2 units that sold in December were fairly high value. Down to Te Atatu Peninsula, 12 units sold. Again, a massive drop from the 26 sold in November. Numbers in December, 902,500, which was down from 950,000 median sale in November. Te Atatu South, 18 units sold as opposed to 23, so a bit of a drop there. And the median sales price, 810,000, down from 860,000 November. Titirangi area, 17 units sold, 17 units sold as opposed to 20. But again, holding its numbers up. Titirangi is usually pretty constant. The median in December was 1,075,000. The median in November was 1,055,000. So it's holding up well. And the last suburb I cover in West Auckland, Sunnyvale, only 2 units sold. 807,500 is the median in December. So that's about static. Now, there's been a few changes in New Zealand in the last few days. Jacinda Ardern has passed on the mantle of Prime Ministership to Chris Hipkins. That's going to make for an interesting lead up to the October election this year. It will be interesting to see what policies come out, etc. As far as homes are concerned, we wait with bated breath as to what the Reserve Bank is doing next month. But until next month, until I see you again, please take care of your family, look after them, love the West Auckland. Come back safe and sound for Westie Ways next month. And if you have any queries or any questions related to real estate, or if there's anything you'd like to know, please give me a call, 027 363 4122, or mark@glubbers.nz, or just give me a call, 027 363 4122. All the best, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.